Hi, this is John Hartraw, and welcome to episode 43 of Left Turn at Albuquerque. It's back to Warner Brothers proper as we start our look at Looney Tunes Collector's Vault Volume 2. Disc 1 has 26 cartoons on it to make up for last volume's double dip, so let's get cracking.
I knew I should have made a left turn at Albuquerque. I knew I should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque. I knew I should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque. I should have turned left at Albuquerque.
Did you notice anything different? Now, like Tom and Jerry, we're going to be breaking up these episodes into separate videos, then we'll do a playlist. It seems to have worked out well, so I can get these out to you guys a lot quicker. Now, if you want to keep track of everything, please hit the subscribe button and hit the alerts so you'll know when a new one shows up. Looney Tunes Collector's Vault Volume 2 came out on March 24th, 2026. Disc 1 starts out with A Lad in His Lamp, which was released on April 3rd, 1948, directed by Robert McKimson and written by Warren Foster. While digging a new rabbit hole, Bugs discovers Aladdin's lamp and summons the genie, who he names Smokey. Bugs wants to visit Baghdad with the genie, but they encounter Caliph Hassan Pfeffer, get it, who desperately wants the lamp. So Bugs and Smokey must outwit the greedy Caliph while the lazy genie keeps finding excuses not to help, like taking a bath, eating his dinner, going on a date with a female genie. Now you know this voice.
My little buck-toothed pal, I'll grant you a wish. Anything you want. I've got millions.
This was the first recorded film role for Jim Backus, who would later become famous as the voice of Mr. Magoo and later as Thurston Howell III on Gilligan's Island. Now, this was a network cartoon that's been in and out of circulation and took until now to get it on digital home video. This was a long time coming. This was also one of the first of 4 brand new restorations on the disc, and it looks terrific. Plus, we get another version of this favorite Termite Terrace line.
I wonder what the poor rabbits are doing this season.
Ain't That Ducky came out on May 19th, 1945, directed by Friz Freleng and written by Michael Maltese. Daffy's taking a bubble bath when he hears a little yellow duckling crying and carrying a briefcase. However, the duckling is rude and won't let anyone else see what's in the briefcase.
Keep your hands off!
A mild-mannered hunter arrives and chases after Daffy, but eventually the two team up to discover what's in the mysterious briefcase. I guess they never seen Pulp Fiction. This cartoon has a great fourth wall joke right here where Daffy complains.
Somebody's been laying down on a job. JL will hear of this.
The voice of the hunter was done by Victor Moore, and this was his only Looney Tunes appearance.
Oh, is there anything I can do to help you?
Now, when I saw this on Tune In With Me about 1.5 years ago, it had a disclaimer in front of it. Turns out it was from Gold Collection Volume 6. I tried to remember what could possibly be bad about this one, and I saw this scene. Kind of reminds me of Farina from The Little Rascals, but to be honest, if it didn't have the disclaimer in front of it, I probably wouldn't have given it a second thought. Now, this one was also newly restored for this set. There's an image out there of possibly the original title card, but this version has the blue ribbon title still on it. I remember this one getting quite a bit of airplay on TBS. The Bird Came C.O.D. was released on January 17, 1942, directed by Chuck Jones and written by Rich Hogan. Delivery cat Conrad tries to get a palm tree to a magic show and ends up in conflict with the magician's bird. This is the first of 3 appearances for Conrad, all of which came out in 1942, and now all of them are on digital home video. But this is the only one to get the blue upgrade so far. It's also possible that Chuck used this bird as a prototype for Henry Hawk, who he debuted later in the year. I honestly don't remember seeing this one too much. Bone Sweet Bone came out on May 22nd, 1948, directed by Art Davis and written by Lloyd Turner and Bill Scott. An archaeologist at a museum scolds his dog Shep for supposedly removing a bone from a dinosaur skeleton. The little dog discovers a bigger dog has stolen his buried bone, so a battle of wits ensues as Shep tries various schemes to try to retrieve the bone from the bulldog's yard, including trading a fake dynamite-loaded bone. But after finally retrieving it, returning it to the museum, it turns out the archaeologist had the museum bone in his pocket all along. Now, the weird thing is this reveal happens very early in the cartoon, making it almost irrelevant what Shep actually does, since we know it's not the real bone. It's a very odd choice story-wise. Now, this is one where the original titles still exist, but are in very poor condition. This version showed up on the golden age of Looney Tunes Laserdisc back in the 90s. As you can see, the original was actually in Cinecolor. The blue ribbon print, which is in better condition and in Technicolor, was restored instead of the damaged original title print, and that's what we get here. We'll have another situation like this later on the disc, and I'll talk about a possible solution that they haven't resorted to yet. Now, this was an AAP cartoon, but not in many stations' rotations that I used to watch anyway. I did see it at one point somewhere, so maybe like Cartoon Network. Boston Quackie was released on June 22nd, 1957, directed by Robert McKimson and written by Ted Pierce. We've talked about this one a lot as we waited for it to show up restored, and it's finally here. So, a quick recap. Secret Agent Quackie is enjoying a vacation in Paris with his girlfriend Mary when Inspector Faraway gives him an assignment to deliver a top-secret briefcase to the Slavovian consulate. But a mysterious man in a green hat immediately steals the briefcase, leading to a chase aboard the Cloak and Dagger Express. This cartoon features notably dark humor for a McKimson cartoon, including spy murder gags that were often edited in syndication like they were on Channel 5. There's a technical oddity in this one. The opening title's listed as a Looney Tunes cartoon with the wrong era music, while the closing credits listed as Merry Melodies. There's always something with these. Oh, and this was the first time Daffy is missing Grandma's pearls around the neck there. Boulevardier from the Bronx came out on October 10, 1936, directed by Friz Freleng. Don't know the writer. Smith and Dalton did the animation along with McKimson. Nice Photoshop titles here, huh? A small-town baseball team has to take on Dizzy Dan, the Giants' star player who's very full of himself. Now, wait a minute, the Giants played in the Polo Grounds. The Yankees are the ones from the Bronx. Oh, yeah, but these are the Chicago Giants. Ugh. As noted, this is an early Merry Melodies cartoon that showcases Freleng's developing directorial style and the song-based formula that was the focus and purpose of the Merry Melodies cartoons back in the 30s.
I'm a ball and a Batman, a tux and top hat man, a Boulevardier from the Bronx.
This was actually the first one to use Merrily We Roll Along. Now, Friz ended up reusing this sound later for the Horse and the Pink Panther cartoons, who also appeared in the Daffy Duck Easter special. You know Friz. This was also the first of his baseball trilogy, which would continue with Porky's baseball broadcast and conclude with the classic Baseball Bugs. MeTV loves showing this cartoon. Country Boy was released on December 28, 1935, also directed by Freleng, also with an unknown writer, and also drawn by Smith and McKimson. This is a very loose adaptation of Peter Rabbit, so I guess they didn't have to credit Beatrix Potter. He's without the blue coat since this was made in Cinecolor and they can only use red and green. There is a song in here, but it's not really the main focus. Kind of just an old-fashioned cutesy cartoon. That's what they did back in the 30s. I first saw this one back on HBO Max. The Daffy Duckaroo came out on October 24th, 1942, directed by Norm McCabe and written by Melvin Miller. Daffy leaves Hollywood and takes his show out on the road out west. He ends up falling for an Indian, Native American duck who actually already has a boyfriend. And because of all this, the cartoon has languished in poorly sourced public domain collections. That source was also edited because when this was shown in the old Sunset package, this particular section here was edited out. Warner's didn't want its name on TV. Paramount did the same with the old AAP Popeyes. But it's been fully restored here. I believe Steve Stanchfield at Thunderbean was able to find the complete print, so now we have it. This was the last Norm McCabe-directed Daffy Duck cartoon. Now, even though it's been in the public domain, I haven't seen it until now. As I mentioned in some early episodes, these early 40s black and whites have their own particular aesthetic. It's not like adding color to them, which in this case they've done twice, would make them just like all the other Looney Tunes. That's just the way they were made. Dr. Jerkyl's Hide was released on May 8, 1954, directed by Friz Freleng and written by Warren Foster. London dogs Alfie and Chester chase Sylvester into the laboratory of Dr. Jerkyl, well, take on Dr. Jekyll, where the cat drinks a potion and transforms into a super strong monster cat. Alfie is terrified of the beast, but whenever Chester sees him, he reverts back to regular Sylvester. This is the first of Friz's Jekyll and Hyde trilogy, the second of which is on disc 2, and we've already done Hide and Go Tweet. This is basically a reworking of Tree for Two with the Hyde Sylvester replacing the Panther. Like that one, this was originally on the networks. The Boomerang version that's been on the past few years is really beat up, so I'm glad this restored version will be the go-to from now on. The EGGcited Rooster came out on October 4th, 1952, directed by McKimson and written by Ted Pierce. Henry Hawk is chicken hunting again, this time donning Indian garb and weaponry to go after Foghorn, who's stuck on a nest hatching an egg. Needless to say, thanks to this particular aspect, it hasn't been seen much recently. I frankly don't remember it at all when I was younger. I would guess it was part of the post-1948 syndicated package that differed from station to station. But MeTV has pulled it out a few times. I actually just saw it a couple of weeks ago.